Ooh, y'all, we are making some homemade lasagna. So starting out, we're gonna put, this is actually one of those like 2.5 or 2.25, however, the 2.25 pounds of ground meat. But I remembered right after I dumped it in there that I needed a little bit of meat for another recipe. So this is probably about 1.5 pounds. And then I added me a chopped up onion, of course. And then we're just gonna go ahead and get this all browned up. Now, I made this the day before I cooked it, and so I'm not putting it straight in the oven right now. But when you do make it, you're going to preheat your oven to 350. So go ahead and just get your meat browned up and let your onion get cooked. And once you get all this all cooked up, go ahead and drain any grease that you had in there. Now, once you get your grease drained out, just put you a big spoonful of garlic over in there. Now, if you fancy and you have real garlic or fresh garlic, go ahead and use that. But I never have fresh garlic, y'all. I use the minced kind that you keep in the refrigerator. So that's what I used. And don't worry, I'm going to put all the amounts, whatever, down in the description box, y'all. So once you get your meat all browned up and once you've added your garlic, I should say, just cook it for another minute or so. And don't look at my house shoes, y'all, because I was fancy cooking this day. But then you're just gonna add one of the big, almost like a double jar of the spaghetti sauce, not the regular size, that's the bigger one. And then dump that over in there, and then you're just gonna add a little bit of water, maybe half a cup of water. I'm not sure how much, because y'all, I don't measure nothing. And you just shake it around there to make sure you get all that sauce out of your jar. Now, if you don't like jar sauce, feel free to make homemade sauce, but this is a homemade lasagna that I made a little bit easier because I did not have all day long to cook the sauce. Now, if you have all day long, feel free. Use tomato sauce, seasonings, whatever you got, whatever you want. But this is just an easy way to do it, and it tastes really good, y'all. So once you've added your spaghetti sauce, go ahead and add you some Italian seasoning. And I don't add any salt or any other ingredients in here because, number one, your spaghetti sauce is already seasoned. And then you're going to add in a lot of cheese. And that cheese has a lot of salt, especially like the Parmesan cheese. So I didn't want to oversalt it. So anyway, once you get everything mixed in there, you're just going to pop the lid on it, turn it down on low, and just let it simmer while you get your cheese mixture together. Now, this is another bone of contention for some people. I use half ricotta and half cottage cheese. It calls for 2 cups, the original recipe, 2 cups of ricotta. I'm not the biggest fan of ricotta cheese, but I do like it in my lasagna, so I just do half and half, cottage cheese and ricotta. Now, if you don't like cottage cheese, just use the ricotta. If you don't like ricotta, just use cottage cheese. I've made it both ways, all 3 ways, whatever, and it still tastes good. So then once you get your 2 cheeses mixed in, then you're going to add your shredded cheese. And I just added in, y'all, I eyeball it, but I'll put some measurements, I'll give y'all some measurements, but I just put some mozzarella and some parmesan in there. And then you're going to crack 1 egg over in it. And then you are just going to mix this up really, really good until everything gets mixed together. And, if you like a whole lot of cheese, which this was a little bit more cheese probably than what the recipe calls for. But I find sometimes if I add, like exactly what the recipe says, that I don't have enough cheese. Like it doesn't go far enough. Well, I don't know. Maybe we're just cheesy people. Who knows, y'all? But this is how I do mine, and it turns out really, really good. So you're just going to get your cheeses all mixed up. Just make sure that egg is mixed in there real good because, again, you don't want big clumps of egg anywhere. You just want that egg to kind of hold your cheese together. And then I add a little bit more Italian seasoning to my cheese mixture. And that way you got a little of this everywhere. But again, I don't add any salt or anything because this is salty enough without adding any of that. So I just go ahead and I get my cheese all mixed up. Excuse me, y'all. And I dropped my spoon there. But then, once that's all done, look how yummy that looks, appetizing. I'm going to go ahead and get my little assembly station going. Now, you're just going to need 1 pack of noodles, and these are the oven-ready noodles, so you don't have to boil these before you use them. So we can do homemade, y'all, and then, you know, make a few shortcuts here and there, and it still turns out really, really good. So make sure that you spray your 9x13 pan, and then we're just going to get started layering this. So you want to make sure that you put down a layer of the sauce. Number 1, so your noodles don't stick to the bottom of the pan. And number 2, because you don't want dry noodles, which I'm sure there's enough sauce that'll soak down in there, but I'm not taking the chance, y'all. So I just go ahead and add just a little thin layer of the sauce right on down there in the bottom of the pan. And y'all see my little button popped up there. Y'all make sure if you hadn't subscribed, go ahead and click that subscribe button so you'll get all my little videos. So once you get your meat mixture down there, you're just going to lay your lasagna noodles down. Now, usually the way these pans are shaped, I can't get 4 noodles on the very bottom layer. So I go ahead and break that, well, I'm putting one down there to end, but on that side right there, I just break one of those noodles in half. And normally they break pretty easy and pretty even, but this day, just because I was filming, it wasn't gonna happen. So then I just take my little, you know, if I need my little leftover pieces, and I just kind of piece it together there. Then you're gonna go ahead and add on your layer of cheese. Now this gets a little tricky if you've never made lasagna, y'all, because it's kind of hard to spread because it's a thick cheese mixture, and your noodles, of course, are going to try to slide all over the place like you see them doing. So just kind of hold your finger on your noodles and just spread it out the best you can. It's not going to be perfect, but you know what? Ain't nobody going to see what's between them layers anyway. You just want to make sure that you get a good layer of the cheese on there. And we're going to do 3 layers of this. So just make sure if you're a measuring kind of person, you're going to put like 1/3 of your cheese mixture down, in between each layer. So just like I said, get that spread out the best you can. And it's not going to be neat, y'all. Lasagna is kind of messy to make. But you know what? It freezes really, really well. And like I said, I prepared this the day before because we actually had this for our Christmas lunch, with my family. Because, by the time we finish Thanksgiving and stuff, we're about ham and turkeyed out, y'all. So we just decided that we would go with something just a little bit different, and everybody likes this. So after I put down my creamy cheese layer, then I go ahead and just add just a little bit of mozzarella and a little bit of parmesan. And then you're just going to repeat your layers until you have all of until you run out of stuff, basically, y'all. So look, I'm going to leave this in here going. I'm going to spit it up for y'all, but I got to tell y'all this story. And I know some of y'all already think I'm crazier than a sprayed roach, but I got to tell y'all this story because I got so darn tickled at myself when it happened. So I was laying in bed the other night. I was editing a video, and outside my bedroom window is close to where my gate is for my backyard. And so I was laying here, me and Kitty, we was just chilling out, and all of a sudden I heard this loud bang. And y'all know it's just me and the cat here, and he wasn't finna get up and go check out and see what it was. But I got scared, so I got my phone out, and I pulled up my camera, and I looked back there, trying to make sure there wasn't nobody back there. And then I have a big above-ground pool back there, too. So I thought, oh, Lord, did my pool pop? So I was in here panicking. Then I thought, Lord, I'm about to get murdered out here. But I had to go look, y'all, because it just kept banging, and it was so loud. So I was in my pajamas, and I threw my robe on because, it's like 20 degrees outside, so it's freezing. So I go out in the backyard, and I look over there, and my darn gate has come open and is just slamming into itself. Well, I don't want my poor neighbors to get woke up by my gate. So I go over there, me in my house shoes on the wet ground. My toes are getting wet. I'm freezing to death. And so I go over there, and I'm like, okay, so I pull my gate back closed. Well, it popped back open again. Somehow, I guess when it opened and slammed, it kind of bent the little metal part where the latch hooks. So I thought, Lord have mercy, I got to get out here and tinker. And again, I'm like, why do I not have a man around to do this kind of stuff? Because this is ridiculous. So I go outside, and well, I'm already outside. I don't know what I said that for. So I found my hammer because I thought, well, I'm going to have to hammer this thing back into place. Y'all, I got out there hitting that thing with that hammer, and it was so doggone loud. And I said, oh, my Lord, I'm going to wake the whole neighborhood up. Somebody's going to call the cops on me. And here I am outside in my drawers, 20 degrees. And I'm going to just be found like this. Y'all, it was terrible. But I whacked it a few good times. And then I went ahead and I got the darn thing latched. And I hooked it and I locked it. And I ran back in the house. I was freezing, I was giggling, and then I was still looking out the window trying to see if the cops was coming, y'all. Lord have mercy. Look, you can't take me nowhere, I done told y'all. But anyway, I just wanted to share that little story with y'all. Well, here we go with our last little layer. Once you finish this, you're going to go ahead and you're going to pile your cheese on here. You're going to, because this is your topping. We done now. So you want to make sure you get as much cheese as you want on there. And then I put, like I said, I put mine in the refrigerator, and I do add the mozzarella and the parmesan. And then I just covered mine up, put it in the refrigerator overnight, and got it out the next day and cooked it. But all you got to do is cook it on 350 for about 45 minutes covered. Then you're going to uncover it and cook it for another 15 minutes. Now that's if you cook it immediately. If you've had it in the refrigerator and it's cold, cook it a little bit longer. I think I cooked mine for about an hour covered and then about 20 minutes uncovered. But y'all, this was so dang good. We really enjoyed it. And I just served it with a little Caesar salad on the side and some garlic bread. It was really good, y'all.